Now, imagine you're born Jewish. Nothing wrong with the religion. However, you're born in the 1930s, 1940s, and you had to suffer through the Holocaust. Now, unfortunately, people did, but this is where we get the story of the lucky ones who escaped the Holocaust. Now, Schindlers was a 20th century movie created by Steven Spielberg and very well awarded, one of the most awarded movies ever. Now, in this movie, Oskar Schindler, a German, a part of the Nazi Party, played by the great Liam Neeson, is saving and protecting lives of the Jewish. Now, this movie was very well awarded, winning many rewards, from Academy Awards, Grammy Awards, Golden Globes, BAFTA, all of them. Now, in this speech, I will go over my opinion, then we're going to move on. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to go over the view or the entirety of the movie, then we're going to go over my opinions, and then we're going to view the opinions of critics. Now, first of all, overview. Movie set in Nazi Germany with Oskar Schindler. He's a very wealthy man, charismatic man. He will woo anyone, Nazis, anything. Now, for the profits of war, we have him hiring Jewish workers to work for his factories, work for him, enslave, and build it. He wanted profit from them, but he ended up protecting them by creating a list of essential workers known as Schindler's List to stop them from being sent to death camps. An honorable thing. And even further on, he bribed many Nazi officials to move these Germans, or Jewish Germans, from Germany to a Poland town called Bruxland. And this is where they were able to make escape. And now I'm going to show you a quick clip of exactly what he did and how many people he actually saved. Now, as you've just seen, the people walking those fields of Bruxland were the Jewish he actually saved, a very honorable thing, and they all went up to honor his grave. And it just show you that's a lot of people, but there's so much more. And they all still honor him, and they're still alive to this day. It's one of the great reasons for this movie. Now that we've talked about this and the overview, we're going to go into my opinion and why I think this movie is so great. Now, personally, this movie is great for remembering history and respecting history. Now, for those of you who don't know, a new German critic published actually not new critic, Carl Bay of Project News published in the 20th century, many Jews died, tens to the millions died, from illness to being murdered to starving. They died for many reasons. Now, it's important to know this, that while Schindler was able to save thousands of lives, millions of deaths, so it just hides how severe the situation was. Now, why else would we need this? A survey done by the NBC News in September 16, 2020, had found a small group of Gen Zs in the States had no knowledge of the Holocaust. About 63% of Gen Zers they reviewed didn't even know it actually happened. It was just nothing. This is unacceptable. We have to make sure we remember this history as to never repeat it. Now, what else? Why is it so great? The authenticity. Steven Spielberg made it his mission to make it as authentic as possible, which is why he purposely moved film to Europe and went to the actual locations of where this all happened. And that's how much passion he had to the movie. He created it to make sure he got it to the best, most wholest view. Now, furthermore, it also made very large amounts of money. It's very successful. History and Memory, published in May in 2009 found that in the US, the film had about $7 million. That's a lot. In total, worldwide, 321 million. The budget was 22 million for this entire movie. So it was extremely successful. It could not have been done any better. So that's how you know if the movie's good. When it lacks success worldwide, that's when you know a movie has succeeded. Okay, now that we moved from my opinion, we're going to be going over the critics' opinion, the professionals who you should trust, right? Now, critics in the journal published April 1st, 2000 wrote, and this critic's name was Limtowski, how do you represent the unrepresentable? It's a very difficult task, but the movie accomplishes with worldwide acclaim. And it's right, how do you represent something so horrible, so dark, that the quietness of just being there is enough to fear you? But Steven Spielberg did this. He represented their passion, their pain, and showed the world what had happened. And he did this very successfully for the respect of the Jews. Now, moving on, another critic, Shirley Gould of the Canadian Dimension, published April of 1994, wrote, fascism and hatred, economic crisis, this is what revolves our world. But this movie serves as a good reminder of what we should remember, or what we should act. We should never be acting on hatred. We should always be compassionate. And it shows a good reminder of the story and of the Holocaust that we should always remember and we can never forget. But it shows that we should always be compassionate whenever we can, because that's how we remember everyone we lost and we save lives. And that's how it shows that we could always be better. Now, the bad critics, which was very hard to find. New German critics published in the summer of 2009 found it was difficult to make a good German. It's very hard. It's a very hard challenge. But I believe Steven Spielberg did this successfully. He demonstrated a man of honor, a man of greatness, who did the right thing. Who did the right thing for others and protected the lives and saved thousands of lives, whose descendants then went on. And now there's 6,000 and more descendants thanks to him and the families we see. Now, another thing that we also saw, some people were thinking, Nazis are evil, right? Well, a journal called Problems with Schindler's List, published April 25th, 1994, found Nazi evil was too compact, too planned. It was just basic evil. But it was right. It was basic evil. I think it was the right evil because they were there to depict the evilness. They were just there to make sure this is what's wrong with the world. This is what's wrong with the movie. Now, they weren't the point of the movie, though. The point of the movie was between the Jews and Schindlers. This is where you get the passion, the connection between both. Now, thank you for that. This was my movie speech. I talked to you about my overview of the movie, my opinions, and the critics' view. Now, I'll leave you that this is the greatest movie that was made to me personally. It shows compassion and it shows what we should always remember and never forget. And I hope you get to watch it someday too, so we can never forget and always remember.